Will the NFC East finally have a repeat division champ?
No. Welcome back to the James and Name Show. I'm Josiah.
And I'm Will.
And today we're going to go over the NFC East predictions. Now we're starting to cover the other conference. We're going to start off with the Dallas Cowboys because it's alphabetical order and it makes it look nice, I guess. Whatever. All right, so first off, we have the Cowboys starting off with a banger Sunday night. I'm not going to lie. We'll see how well this game is going to go. And just as a reminder for everybody, we're not doing like individual games. We're doing floors and ceilings.
The Cowboys and the NFC East. The NFC East in general will play the AFC West and NFC North, and then the Cowboys have the Jets, Cardinals, and Panthers. That is their slate. So looking at this team, looking at how they might do in division play, I think we could see a rough matchup against the Eagles week 1 is kind of what I'm expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see. What other kind of matchups? Giants. Are the Giants gonna actually be able to get a game against the Cowboys this year? I expect the Cowboys to be
Not as good.
I mean, they weren't good last year.
I know, but still not as good as there should be.
Yeah.
Especially with the possible loss of Micah Parsons. I'm going to assume that they might lose a game to the Giants just because, it looks like to be one of those roller coasters of a season. See, last year they were just mid. This year it seems like they're going to have a lot of highlights and a lot of lowlights, highlights, lowlights. Like, it's not going to be consistent whatsoever. Because you're going to have games that the Cowboys will dominate, and then you have the games that the Cowboys will completely wet the bed, and then you have the games where, I don't know.
I'm almost more expecting them to be more like, usually I feel like they're more of like a choke team where they're expected to be really good, but they don't win when it matters. And now
it's a fair assessment.
I'm just seeing them be probably more just a mediocre team.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the floor, if it gets really bad, Cowboys won't be awful. They'll definitely be like lower middle of the road if it gets really bad. This schedule's a lot harder towards the end of the year, especially with Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers, and Commanders all back-to-back, with Broncos, another Commanders game, and Packers and Eagles earlier in the season. It can get real ugly real fast. So I can see the floor being as low as 6 wins.
All right.
Their ceiling, though, if they keep Parsons around, they're all healthy, no one's injured. They use George Pickens pretty well because that's a new addition they have to their offense.
This is true.
If Jerry Boy can, stay out of the team's way, I can see up to 10, 11 wins. If they play their cards right and they actually utilize their pieces and they're not going to get in their own way and do, stupid things like not signing Micah Parsons. Mm-hmm. That's the first major step. If they don't sign Parsons, that ceiling goes way down.
True.
Because Parsons is a game changer. I may dislike his attitude sometimes, but he's a phenomenal player. And I don't know what Jerry Jones is thinking right now, you got to pay the man if you want to be good. Dak Prescott can't do everything. We've seen that in the past. CeeDee Lamb is the only, or at least up until this last offseason, was the only true offensive weapon for a while. And then George Pickens, we'll see how well he does. So that's where I'm kind of leaning towards. Low as 6, even as high as 11. It's kind of a wide range for them because a lot of things have to happen certain ways.
All right. I actually am in a similar spot as well. Like you mentioned, though, the end of the season is brutal. Home games against Eagles and Chiefs, which is just not the teams you want to be playing at home. On the road to the Lions, that's going to be rough. Vikings Chargers, we'll have to see how much different this year is going to be for them, but
Yes.
still not going to be easy opponents. And then you end off on the road to Commanders and Giants.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be fun. You have to play Broncos on the road. Not going to be easy. You got some easy matchups. Jets, Panthers, Cardinals, all winnable games. Again, you play the Giants twice. And the Bears, but it's AFC West, NFC North. Last year were two of the most competitive divisions.
Yes.
And you have to play all 8 of those teams now. So we're expecting maybe at least 6 of those teams to be good.
At least.
Not fun, especially for a team that doesn't do well against good teams traditionally.
Just kind of like the Dolphins.
I'm also not expecting much. I have their ceiling at 10-7,
Okay.
and their floor at 6-11.
Okay.
So
I
same
guess mine
floor.
was a bit higher. I mean, you've seen it before. Cowboys are somehow going to get like a somewhat decent record, and then they're going to get bounced the first playoff game. It happens every year.
Well, I mean, obviously not last year.
Not last year, but like for recency sake, it's happened most of those years.
It
With a
happens,
good record.
It does happen a bit, but I also think that this team has been regressing year by year, and I think this might be. Last year, you have the excuse of Dak was injured, but the team still wasn't good.
No.
And this team, I think, I don't know if they're going to be that much better. I mean, things have just been falling apart. You really have to hope for George Pickens to be good, and you really have to pray that you can keep Micah Parsons around. But your defense doesn't look great right now. Your offense, I mean, maybe your O-line, maybe your offense can step up a little bit. You're still going to be iffy in the running back room. And then on top of all of that, new head coach in Schottenheimer, and nobody really knows what to expect. I don't have a lot of faith, but
No. All right. Next up, we have the Eagles. Interesting. So, Eagles are going to have a pretty rough stretch at the beginning. I know we just talked about the Cowboys. But Chiefs, Rams, Buccaneers, Broncos, 4 games straight. It's going to be tough, especially with the Broncos on the rise. Buccaneers are at least a competitive team. Rams, they're always going to do something. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They want revenge. And then that middle of the road, they have Giants, Vikings, and Giants, and Packers, and Lions. I can see a couple losses there if they don't, do things right. Then towards the end of the stretch, your major competitors and the Commanders and Bills. So, well, I guess the Chargers too, but I don't expect the Chargers to be that good or as good as they were. I mean, the hope is that they do improve. Eagles are kind of a bit of a weird one for me, mostly because they lost pieces, but they also gained a lot of pieces. It's like, what is it? 2/3 of the team stayed, but that third of the team that just joined, I don't know how well they work with them, especially with who was it? Brandon Graham retired.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always going to be that void there. You're always going to have, let's see here. I mean, you did get the random pieces, especially with, what's his name? Titans, Burks. Burks, they got Burks. Like you're gonna get like the random pieces they pulled in the offseason too. But even in the draft, oh my gosh, they don't. Apparently, the Eagles don't know the word of regressing. They just reload. So this could go two ways in my mind. They either, one, stay the same as this last year, like really dominant, like nothing's really changed, or two, they kind of regress a little bit, but stay around the just above 500 range. So my floor for them, 9-8. It's a pretty high floor. It's the highest one I've had so far. Ceiling, I mean, looking off of this last year, Super Bowl hangovers is still a thing. But even then, I can see as high to like, maybe 14 wins, maybe if they get lucky. So 9 to 14 wins, somewhere in there. No, this is not biased because they just won the Super Bowl. It's just the only thing they changed was their roster, and their roster is probably the same like amount of talent too. You're just changing pieces. You just traded one thing for another. That's all you did. I mean, maybe you have a different opinion on this.
I have a slightly different opinion. I feel like we're in a similar boat as to what the outcome of this team is going to be. But looking at the differences, they did make some changes. They lost their OC, but while that is like a big knock, for a lot of teams, you have Jalen Hurts, you have Saquon Barkley, you still have
A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You still have all those pieces, even on defense.
Goddard, really good O-line.
Yeah, that O-line's amazing.
Their offense should be easy to run.
Yes. It's the defense that might raise some questions.
Yeah, but you kept Vic Fangio, who had a phenomenal year as a defensive coordinator. Yes, you lost a lot of pieces, but you also stole Jahad Campbell.
True.
Got Andrew Makuba as well, who's been playing well in preseason.
Yeah. I guess in the sense of talent-wise on the offense and defense, I trust more in the player talent than I do the coaching scheme, if that makes sense. Fangio has had a history where he's been kind of inconsistent up until recently. He's been really good recently. He's had a history of
I think a lot of that is
pretty bad years.
I think a lot of that is reflected on his head coaching stint, though.
Maybe I don't know. It's just I've seen his play calling, especially recently. It's been great. In the past, it's kind of shown that. I mean, sometimes he has some down years. It happens. However, like we just mentioned with that offense, what I mean by I trust that offense more is because the talent on that offense can produce more results than having to rely on a defensive coordinator that you just changed pieces with. Like, you can still work with that defense. I just trust the raw talent of that offense more, if that makes like they're both even. Maybe it's just because of the Super Bowl that I'm just like, yeah, that offense is really good, but that defense is also really good. I mean, I don't know.
Again, I think the defense will be okay because a lot of it is, yes, the defense had a lot of key pieces, but also how good were those pieces, or like were those pieces as good as we really thought last year, or was Vic Fangio just that good of a defensive coordinator? And I think, again, I'm watching a lot of the games with Philly. I really liked what he was doing schematically, and I think that is keeping that piece around with Sirianni. I think is going to help. He's like you mentioned, hasn't always been the best, defensive coordinator or coach in any regard. But when he's been with Philly, he's been really good. I expect a really good defense from them again this year. Offense, we don't necessarily know what their offense, at least play calling wise, is going to look like. But you have Saquon Barkley. It's kind of hard to do poorly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just I don't expect them to regress. You still have all the same talent. Scheme-wise, maybe it changes, but how are you going to stop Saquon Barkley when he starts running all over you?
Yeah, and they have a really good O-line, and again, it's a
You're
triple
not
threat.
touching Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's tough, but we've also seen the Eagles offense when they should be working very well. We've also seen years where they're just not working very well. And part of that also goes back to play calling. So
That 10-1 collapse a couple
Yeah.
years ago.
that is an example of what coaching can do, and it's not all raw talent, but I agree their offense is talented enough to be really good. Their defense is at least well coached enough, and they still have a lot of good talent to be really good. All to come back basically to my floor and ceiling, which is again, they do have a tough schedule. That's what you get when you're best in your division and you win the Super Bowl. That's what happens. But I think they're still going to be one of the better teams in the league. One of the best teams in the league. And with that being said, I have my floor at 10-7, which is
higher than mine.
The highest we've had so far. And the ceiling also at 14-3 because
you're gonna lose a couple of those.
Yeah,
good, you're not. You're gonna lose like one of those random games, and then you're gonna like go neck and neck with like the Lions or the Commanders or something like that. Like they're gonna lose a game somewhere.
Yeah,
like it happens.
It's gonna be tough playing just that.
Yes.
Early. But yeah, it's just Chiefs week 2 even is going to be.
Yeah, that's going to be. Is that one at home? Let me look.
It's on the road.
It's on the road.
Kansas City, so that's going to be a tough one. But
yep,
they're also talented enough to pull like some of those out. But I think they're going to lose a few. But I don't think I have really high hopes for them. Moving along now to. Moving along.
New York Giants.
New York Giants.
Sorry, I'm quoting Madagascar here. All hail the New York Giants. New York Giants. Anyway, so, oh boy. Hey, Giants, you ready for another mess of a year? Just now looked at your schedule for the first time, and oh my gosh. All right, so you got Washington twice, Dallas twice, and Eagles twice. You have Kansas City, L.A., Chargers, Saints, Eagles, Broncos, or I said Eagles already, 49ers, Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit, New England, Minnesota, and Vegas. Oh my gosh. Do you think they hate the Giants?
I mean, it's all an algorithm. This is.
I guess.
They don't.
Like, you think they'd be, a little bit more merciful with how they did last year. I don't know. There's no mercy in football.
I mean, I do expect the Giants to be better. They have a better quarterback room, which will help. They got some
more pieces.
They got some good pieces.
You got
Scadaboo, Abdul Carter, Jackson Dart, who's going to sit for a bit. But
yeah, I don't expect them to start right away.
They got some decent pieces.
Yeah.
I do expect this to be rough. They have some winnable games in there.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be one of those interesting years. Floor, probably something similar to what happened last year, where they only got, was it 3 wins? Is that what it was?
Yeah, 3 and 14.
Yeah, 3 and 14 is probably my floor, mostly because I know how rough the schedule is. However, with the additions that we've just talked about and the new revamped QB room, they can make some progress. I can see up to like 7 wins. Like they could be like one of those like underdog teams that upsets a lot of people, because they have pieces, they have talent now. They just need to see how well they use said talent, because I don't know. It's New York. I don't know.
Yeah,
can't expect anything super good from Jersey At least not right away.
It's a tough place for them to be. It's just like, even when you look at the games where it's like, yeah, they could. This is a team they could beat. It's almost always on the road or on a short week or.
Yeah, I'm mostly looking at like that Saints game.
Yeah, like the Saints I was like, oh, the Saints are such a beatable opponent,
And
but you get to play it on the road.
And it's on the road.
Eagles at home, if you somehow had a chance, short week. But you get the following week. You have like 10 days. You have to play in Mile High. And
yeah, good luck with that.
And you're like,
you do get to play at Dallas.
You get like I think they could beat Dallas once.
They definitely can.
I think they could maybe squeak out a game between the Saints and the 49ers. I think they could squeak out one. Maybe you get a win against the Patriots. Maybe they could beat the Packers at home. And maybe they could beat the Chargers at home. Like,
there's things to work with here.
They
just gotta use it well.
I'm gonna be in a really similar boat with you as well. I don't have super high hopes for them. No, I think that you're gonna see progression as far as the gameplay, but not as far as necessarily the record.
No,
the record's not gonna take, I don't think, a big step forward. I see a floor of 3-14 as well, and I'll go one higher, and I'll go a ceiling of 8-9.
Okay.
Because it's not pretty. Tyrone Tracy, Cam Scatterboom, maybe that works out pretty well. You got some pieces as far as free agency goes, but nothing super flashy. It's going to basically come down to how are these drafted pieces, and is Abdul Carter really that much of a menace? Mm-hmm. Because if so, your offense probably isn't going to look great. I don't even know what best case scenario is, because like, would best case scenario be Russell Wilson does somewhat well and gets you more wins than expected, or would it be better for Russell Wilson to just suck and you throw Jackson Dart in there and he actually looks good? Because
kind of depends on how they do the first couple weeks, because depending on how bad Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston are right away, they might just throw Dart into the fire. Yeah, like you said earlier, I will say their play style, their play calling, and their talent will improve, but the record might not show it. I do agree with that. Because like, they're probably going to be more efficient than years past, but they're not going to necessarily show it on the record. Or at least when you're not looking at stats, you're just looking at record. But yeah. All right. So now we have the Commanders. So after a unexpected season in 2024, their schedule doesn't look too bad. Not too bad. There are definitely some hiccups in there. You're facing Green Bay at Green Bay.
Yeah.
Kansas City at Kansas City.
Yeah.
But you do get to host Detroit and Denver. I'd say that's pretty fair for those teams. Honestly, well, take into account what happened this offseason. They finally re-signed Terry McLaurin. Took him a while.
Mm-hmm. Got Debo.
Debo is back. Or not back, but he's supposedly back to form.
Addressed O-line, got some young guys.
Yeah, I mean, they got the pieces in the draft in the offseason. So, if anything, they improved.
Apparently, there's been a lot of praise of Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, their 7th-round pick. I'm not really sure where that came from. I didn't see too much preseason out of him, but apparently he's being highly praised enough for them to get rid of Brian Robinson just completely, which is...
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, interesting. There must be a reason why they're doing this.
From what I've heard, it would be Krosky-Merritt. So I'll have to look at that, but maybe.
I saw the interview with Robinson being like, yeah, me and CMC are going to be the best running back duo in the league or whatever it was. I'm like, all right, go ahead and prove it.
I mean, it could make for a pretty good one. Brian Robinson didn't live up to the expectations, but he certainly has kind of a decent ceiling mixed with CMC if he can get back to form. But that's for the 49ers.
Yes.
For the Commanders, again, if Krosky Merritt can step up mixed with some depth, I guess, there, they should be pretty good. They got, again, reworked that O-line. If that O-line can have its improvements. If this team seems like it only really got better because the roster was...
This team only got better.
The roster was pretty decent, but I think they were really well coached with a good quarterback at the helm.
Mm-hmm. I don't expect a good quarterback. Well, he's good. We just didn't expect him to be good right away.
We didn't expect Cliff Kingsbury to mesh so well with Jaden Daniels, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, well...
In my opinion, he kind of outshined C.J. Stroud in his rookie season.
Yeah, and I actually think... we go back like a year. I had been saying, look out for C.J. Stroud's sophomore slump. I'm not really seeing as much of a sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels.
No.
I don't think it'll be... It might not be the
moving.
same year. It might not be as good, but it's still going to be a good year for... I still see a good year for the Commanders. And I think the team got better.
Yeah.
You have the same coaches, same coaching staff. You got a lot more talent. Your defense is expected to be better, and I like the Commanders right now.
Yeah. I will say, for my floor and ceiling, just for the sake of, in case of a sophomore slump, I will put their floor at like 8 and 9, just in case like something weird happens. Their ceiling, though. It's kind of hard to gauge because Denver just got better. Minnesota apparently has been getting better. You've played Philadelphia twice. You played Cowboys twice. I mean, you still have the Chargers, Chiefs, Detroit. I mean, it's not going to be super easy, but I can see as high as like 13 wins. If they do well, I kind of want to give them a wider range only because, I mean, it's probably going to be similar to what happened this last year where they went 12-5. They just get one game better, I guess. Mm-hmm. But like you said, you're not seeing a sophomore slump. I don't really see it either unless something really bad happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's not a super easy schedule with the divisions they have to play.
No.
But I do think that this team is far improved from what it was last year, and last year was still really good. I mean, you obviously have the fact that, again, teams are going to have more tape on Jaden Daniels, and that's usually what causes sophomore slumps is going into the second year, they know how to study you.
Yeah.
But I still think this team's going to be really good. And so I have their floor at 9-8, and I have their ceiling at 12-5. So I think they're going to be competing with Philly for that division. Mm-hmm. I have a higher ceiling for Philly because of the fact that I think Philly is just enough of a powerhouse. Washington would have to take a major step forward. I don't think they're kind of at that major step, but I could see a much more dominant 12-5 year out of them than last year where it was kind of a softer 12-5. You know, they kind of stumbled their way into the playoffs with some games where, you know, there was that game against the Eagles where it was like, did you really deserve that? Or they had their slump after beating the Bears.
It's true.
Whereas, like, this one is more you're playing good opponents. You're playing a lot of good opponents, or what we expect to be good opponents. And we're like, we have this expectation that these teams are going to be good, but we think you're going to be good as well. And it's just going to be a tougher year schedule-wise. But I think that still being said, 12-5 is a great ceiling for them. And 9-8 would be. They're going to be. I see them at worst that cusp playoff team, and again, a lot of that's just because of a tough year, scheduling wise. So that's kind of where I have them. So very similar to yours. Still, good to see that we have a sort of agreement on where these teams should be.
For the most part, yeah. There were a couple teams, or at least I think it was one or the other with floor or ceiling that we just didn't exactly agree on. But yeah, there has been I mean, for the most part, we have similar expectations for most of these teams. I'm kind of curious to see what the other three divisions will look like, mostly because we, haven't gone through them, and we'll see.
So just to break it down, especially because, again, this works out really easily because we have similar expectations.
Yes.
So that it basically comes out to Eagles first. The second team will be the Commanders. Finishing in third, we expect, the Cowboys?
Yeah, Cowboys.
Very mediocre Cowboys.
And then Giants
in last. But there is a lot of room for the Giants to finish over the Cowboys.
They could.
That's about it. We expect those two to kind of battle it out at the bottom, and the Commanders and Eagles to battle it out at the top. But from how it looks like we're expecting our first repeat NFC East division winner for the first time in how many years?
20-some years.
That'd be a little crazy, but I think the Eagles are in a spot to do it.
Yeah.
I do only see the Commanders as really the threat to that.
Yeah, they're the only threat at the moment.
And I wouldn't be upset with the Commanders taking it because,
no.
Again, I
want to see
watching
them
them last year.
Yeah, I had definitely enjoyed seeing them doing better than expected, especially after Dan Snyder left. So, well, that should wrap up for the NFC East. Thank you all for joining us. We will be covering the rest of the NFC in the next couple podcast episodes. Stick around to listen or watch whatever you guys do with our podcast episodes. And we shall see you in the next episode. See ya.
Bye.